Sam Altman just stood on a stage, slapped a shiny new GPT 5.6 sticker on his massive cash furnace, and told the world that everything is perfectly fine. According to OpenAI's latest corporate blog post, their new model is now the officially designated, quote, preferred model for Microsoft Copilot. If you know how to read the language of panic in Silicon Valley, you already know exactly what that phrase actually means. It means desperation. It means the walls are closing in. Just days before this highly staged PR stunt, Bloomberg leaked a piece of reality that OpenAI desperately wanted to keep buried. Microsoft is actively building and deploying its own in-house models, internally known as MAI, to replace OpenAI inside core apps like Word and Excel. Why? Because renting OpenAI's math is bleeding them dry. In this video, you'll see the exact numbers they are trying to hide, and why this supposedly inseparable corporate marriage is actually a slow, agonizing divorce driven by unsustainable server costs. Before we tear into the actual financial mechanics of this corporate breakup, make sure you hit subscribe and let me know down in the comments where you are watching from. This channel is about following the money, and the more people we have looking past the PR statements, the harder it is for them to hide the reality of the balance sheet. Let us look at the timeline, because the sequence of events here is the actual crime scene. Earlier this week, Bloomberg reporters caught Microsoft red-handed. The tech giant has been quietly rolling out its own MAI models to handle the underlying compute for its productivity suite. Microsoft is not doing this for fun. They are doing this because they are looking at their quarterly Azure overhead and realizing that paying the OpenAI API toll every single time an intern asks Copilot to summarize a spreadsheet is an economic suicide pact. You do not build custom internal infrastructure if your external vendor is cost-effective. You build it when the vendor is extorting you and your margins are evaporating into digital smoke. Then, almost immediately after this leak hits the financial terminals, OpenAI scrambles to the podium to announce GPT 5.6. And what is the headline they push to the press? That they are the preferred model for Microsoft users. I want you to really think about the word preferred. In the ruthless dictionary of corporate finance, preferred is not a legal guarantee. Preferred is not exclusive. Preferred is the exact word you use when your biggest investor just told you they are actively dating other people, but they do not want to cause a panic at the shareholder meeting. When Apple was secretly building Apple Maps because they were tired of paying Google, Google Maps was still the preferred application on the iPhone, right up until the moment it was violently ripped out of the default operating system. This is the exact same playbook, just with a different coat of paint and billions of dollars in compute costs hanging in the balance. Do you think Sam Altman actually believes his own spin here, or is he just stalling while the runway burns? Let me know below. The reality of this situationship is entirely mathematical. OpenAI is not a sustainable business. It is a research lab strapped to a rocket engine fueled exclusively by Microsoft's cache and Azure server racks. Every time OpenAI releases a new model, the parameter count goes up and the cost to run inference skyrockets. Microsoft, on the other hand, is a ruthless legacy software empire run by Satya Nadella, a man who worships at the altar of profit margins. Nadella used the OpenAI hype cycle brilliantly. He attached the Copilot brand to the AI bubble, inflated Microsoft's market cap by over $1 trillion, and convinced Wall Street that they were the undeniable leaders of the new era. But the bill always comes due. Now that the enterprise adoption numbers are actually trickling in, Microsoft is realizing that no corporation wants to pay a massive premium per user just to have an unhinged chatbot write terrible emails. The cost of running Copilot powered by GPT is fundamentally misaligned with the value it provides to a normal business. So what does a ruthless software giant do? They pivot to cheaper, smaller in-house models. They build MAI. They route the simple tasks, the basic formatting, the actual daily utility of Word and Excel through their own dirt-cheap infrastructure. They cut OpenAI out of the loop to save their margins. And they leave OpenAI with the quote-unquote preferred status, which simply means OpenAI gets to handle the extremely heavy, ridiculously expensive edge cases that Microsoft does not want to waste its own compute on. Microsoft is effectively turning OpenAI into a toxic waste dump for high-cost inference. This brings us to the ultimate payoff. The reason OpenAI rushed this announcement and leaned so heavily into the Microsoft partnership angle is because they have absolutely no leverage. None. If Microsoft successfully transitions the bulk of its 365 Copilot queries to the internal MAI models, OpenAI loses its primary stream of subsidized revenue. They are left holding the bag on a massive operational deficit with no captive enterprise audience. The AI bubble is not going to burst with a single dramatic explosion. It is going to burst exactly like this: one quiet internal memo at a time, one leaked report about cost cutting, one desperate PR statement from a CEO trying to convince the market that a demotion to preferred status is actually a victory. They are playing a game of passive-aggressive corporate chicken, and OpenAI is driving a rented car that they cannot afford to refuel. The data shows us the truth. The partnership is a facade, the costs are crushing them, and the exit ramps are already being built. I'll see you in the next one.